When it comes to simplifying, we often have to set boundaries. So those are boundaries with ourselves and those boundaries with others. And I'm going to use two examples today. One is a boundary of stuff. And if you have been around here during the holidays, you know that I'm the advocate for a no present policy. So boundaries with other people in relation to stuff means that we have to get really good at saying no. No, Mom, I don't want to take that. No, Grandma, I don't want this tea set. No, thank you, but we're just not doing gifts this year. And that's something that's really easy for me to say, but not always easy for you to implement. The other is saying no to obligations, to invitations that come across our plate, our calendars, and we have to really start to exercise that word no. And the reason that we tend to live in a cluttered home or we live in a very busy world is because we lack the ability to say no. Now, I don't actually believe that we really lack the ability, it's that we lack the courage to say the word no. And especially for women, we were taught as children, as little girls, that no wasn't a word that you should say. Little girls don't say no. Little girls aren't mean. Little girls aren't X, Y, and Z. And so that was just really deeply rooted in our thinking process for so long that as adults we also become really uncomfortable with saying no. We don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We don't want to really stand for the backlash or the reaction that someone may have at our no. Well, what do you mean you don't want my tea set? Well, what do you mean we're not doing Christmas presents this year? And their reaction is not our responsibility. If I tell you no, your reaction is not my responsibility. But again, that's easier for me to say than it is for someone to implement. So it's really not that you lack the ability, but it's probably the fact that there's a lack around the art of saying no. And I'll give you two tips. One is you never have to justify your no. And the more that you start to justify it or you come up with reasons and excuses, the more you're going to really back yourself into a corner and it's going to get really uncomfortable, especially if those excuses are some things that you've sort of made up. Like, oh, I can't go to the birthday party because I need to clean my house. Well, come Saturday, if you're not cleaning your house and you're on social media showing that you're hiking, well, then your friend is going to be upset that you said no because you were going to clean your house. You see where I'm going here? So you want to make sure that we're not over justifying and we're certainly not reaching for an excuse. It's better if it's just a simple no. And the other tip is, and this is something that's always helped me, is to remember that no is always an answer. And it's an answer in and of itself. It's not an answer that means that I'm a bad person, that you're a bad person, that I don't like doing your thing, or I don't want to buy this stuff or participate in whatever you're inviting me to do. It just means that I'm so thankful that you thought of me. Gratitude is really helpful in the beginning when you're saying no. Thank you so much, but I won't be able to participate, or I won't be interested. Maybe not interested is not a good one, but I'm not. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but at this time I'm just not accepting gifts for my birthday. And there's an art to really crafting words and stringing them together into a sentence that is pretty much not going to hurt someone else's feelings. And again, if it does, their reaction is not your responsibility. So when you're ready to simplify and let go, know that you've got to really, really get into that no muscle and start to strengthen it. And the sooner the better.